Remember the last time that you were just screwing in a regular old screw with a regular old drill bit and the tip of it shredded off and got stuck in the screw so you can't take it out? Yeah, I don't remember the last time either. But there she be, stuck in there. So that's what we gotta do now. Try to get that baby out. Hey, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, we bought a Ford Transit Connect XLT and we're converting it into a camper van for a road trip we're taking this summer. So tonight's video, or this video, is about how we installed the walls on the sides of the van, how we insulated it, how we insulated the walls with Havelock Wool, a little bit about the battens, or the wall framing that we put up in there, and then how we installed these 1/4-inch plywood panels. So again, this project was not without turmoil, not without those moments where you just want to slam your head against the wall. As per usual, it wouldn't be a van conversion if it wasn't that. So our van is a 2012. It's not one of the boxy ones. It's very small. So there's lots of curves and bump outs and things like that that you have to work around. And so enjoy this video, and we'll see you on the other side. Night one on doing the wall install. I installed a few battens here on both sides here. This is another one of the things that's really hard to find for the Transit Connect, is ideas on how to frame up the walls in the way that you need to put 1/4-inch plywood on. So what I did here is I ripped down, because I had some extra plywood from the floor, 1/2-inch plywood, and I essentially just screwed that directly into the metal. Be sure that before you screw it, you check where you're screwing it in, to be sure there's no conduit or any wires behind it. Or I almost, down here on this one, I almost screwed right into the wheel well on the outside. So, but I was feeling around a lot, and I noticed the other part is the screws that I have, these lathe screws, they're not meant to sink into the wood, because they're flat. So it just is meant to hold. And I was having a hard time with that. I had a countersink bit. I was doing that, but that's more made for the cone shaped screws, where these are more pan head or whatever. I don't know what that head is called, but anyways, so what I essentially did is I took a tool, and you could use a chisel or something like that. I used an oscillating tool, but you could use a chisel to just chisel out that first layer of ply there, so that when you screw it in, it's not gonna stop your plywood from being flush up against that batten. So I got these two up. Not exactly sure. I might put some up above here as well. And then I was thinking of also putting one maybe just right here, just so that I have something for the wall to chew on right at the edge here. But we'll see what ends up coming from this. Might be a little bit of trial and error here, as like most things when it comes to these projects. But outside of that, that's the first night. I'm going to wrap it up. I've been staying up too late lately, so I'm going to go to bed. So update here, it is now the next night from the last video. Last night I tried a bunch of different things. I tried, well, first of all, the cut that I made for the wall. My intention was to cut the length of the wall and then to kind of hold it up and then trace around where I needed to, but it didn't quite fit, and I didn't, long story short, I made the wrong cut. I'm a few inches short. I got to cut another piece of wood, but I was like, I'm going to get these kind of corners scribed out first. So last night I took some paper, some like craft paper that we had for the kids that we just lay out. And I was trying to like tape it up and like do that kind of thing. And nothing was sticking. The paper kept falling. It was pretty messy. It didn't work so well for me. Might work really well for some people. For me, I just couldn't quite get that to work. I tried some cardboard. Again, kind of just struggled with it. So I took the part that I cut off of the piece of wood yesterday, and I just kind of slowly chipped away at it. As you can see here, I have, you can't see all, you can see some of the big pieces, but I probably went back and forth maybe 30 times, just taking a little chunk off. Take a little chunk off here, what's hitting? Take a little chunk off, hold it up, what's hitting? So it's been about 45 minutes of doing that, and I think I finally got the template for at least that upper or like the back corner here, and it looks super simple, and I probably could have done this a little easier, and then I cut that out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually screw this up just in one spot. This isn't my board, obviously it's just a scrap piece, but I'm going to screw it, just put one screw in it to hold it up there, and then I can kind of trace out part of the curved part above the door over there. So I ended up with this stencil after cutting out. Obviously this isn't big enough to span the whole thing, so I was just using that piece of scrap, but it gets me the angles that I need. And then I'm just gonna measure this to go straight out, to go to all the way to the end of it. And then I have to, this isn't long enough either, so I have to go make some more measurements to kind of get around some of those curves, and then I'm gonna trace it out and then start cutting. So if I did this right, this should just fit right up in there. So I did around I got that curve, and remember how it ended here. So I just went inside and measured how far I needed to get around the one thing that sticks out for the door, and then measured and measured and measured. And then I'm just kind of, this is for the wheel well. I didn't really care to like arc it over the wheel well because it's going to be covered up by cabinets anyways. But this little piece over here might be exposed on the outside, so I left a little chunk there. So we'll see if this fits. I'm sure I'll have to head back to the jigsaw to trim off little pieces, and then once I get this, hopefully I'll have a template for the other side. So after about 2.5 hours, I now finally have a stencil that fits. This will be the wall for one side, and then I'm just going to trace it for the other side. So that part will hopefully go easier and have to have less trimming. On the inside of the van, I've added a little bit more framing just because this part was kind of pushing it in. So I added that to kind of hold that top part in, and then I put another one down there. I also realized that I'd never put one over here, and that's why I was running into some issues. So I got one up there to kind of make it all even across. And then now I've put the insulation in up over the window. And I should be ready to put a wall up there. Okay, there it is. Got it all buttoned up here. It's ready for paint. And now I'm going to trace. Oh, I did just mark up on, just a heads up, I marked on the ceiling where one of those cross beams, that little one that I put up here, because we might put an upper cabinet and I want to know where that is so that I can maybe drill into it to anchor it. And then I marked where it was horizontally right here. So just a future thinking kind of a thing, but that's all up. Now I just need to duplicate the additional framing here, and down here on this side. And then I can cut that other panel that I have traced out, and then hopefully it'll just fit right up there. Okay, so we're prepped and ready to rock and roll here. Just wanted to remind you all that we went with the Havelock Wool for everywhere on our van. Still haven't figured out the wheel wells, but anyways, we went with the Havelock Wool. Super awesome. I highly recommend it. I love it because it's so easy to work with. You can snuggle with it if you need to because it's so cozy and soft. It smells a little bit like sheep, which is kind of pleasant depending on, it's not super strong, not overbearing or anything like that. But it's super soft. It's really easy to pull apart. You can just, either cut it into strips or use the strips that you got. You can take it in half, if you wanted a thinner layer. Otherwise, for a lot of this, I've just been kind of picking at it like a cotton ball and just stuffing it into places. So I'm going to insulate back behind the window here, and then I'm going to put the other panel up. There comes a point in each of these projects I've noticed that it becomes less thinking and more doing. And I look forward to that moment every single project, because then you just go bam, bam, bam. You don't have to think about little curves and juts because you've done one side of it. Now you just got to do the same thing on the other side. You don't have to think about it. It is so sweet. Boom, just like that. Just kidding, not just like that. But the walls are done. At least this part of the wall. We still have the door panels, the sliding doors, and the back doors, which we're going to do at a later date. But for now, we're going to call this one good. Again, this project was not without turmoil, not without hardship, but we got it done because the key is to just not give up on it. So if you found this video useful or helpful, or if you just enjoyed it, give it a like down there at the bottom. And also subscribe to our channel if you're wanting to see more how-to videos, like how we did our ceiling, how we did our floors, things like that. The battens for the ceiling are also a great video. But yes, give us a subscribe and follow along as we keep going and give updates as we go. So thanks again for watching, and hope you have an awesome van build.